Hey guys, it's Kim Jongspoon. Welcome back to World of Tanks Blitz. In today's episode, we're going to be doing a first impression video of the Tier 7 American light tank, the T71. This thing is really good. I mean, it's fantastic. I said the same thing about the T21, but this thing is actually fantastic. I guess this is the first time I've played a high tier autoloader, and oh my Lanta, it's good. Look at this clip right here. This is Sebastian1145 and I rocking up on the hill in our T71s, and this poor LTTB, he just doesn't stand a chance. Like, there's so many guns up here, he's done. And the 6 shells between Seb and I just absolutely obliterated this guy. There's no chance that low tier light tanks can stand up to 6 shells from us. And another plus side of this thing is that its shells don't take that long to reload. So we got like a 13-second reload overall for 3 shells, and we can do like 300, 400 damage with that. So we're shooting at an AFK tank there. Don't worry about that because he could spot us. And also now we got damage. So shooting AFK tanks, I'm just making up an excuse. We shouldn't have been shooting that guy, but we did get some damage from that. So yay! This thing is absolutely fantastic. This gun, it's a 76 mil gun. Its penetration is but it is an absolute monster when it comes to burst damage. So as you can see, this thing unloads its 3 shells like instantaneously. So if there's a tank on less than 300 HP, we should be able to just take him out. Another good thing about this light tank is that it's crazy fast. So we screw up here against the T29 by putting in 1 of our 3 shots, and then there's like 3 tanks that are also spotted, so we run away. So we pop our speed boost and we just run away, and because we can run away at like 60 kph, no problem, we get around the hill, we reload in 13 seconds, and then we obliterate someone. And because you can unload your shells so quickly, 2 blind shots in a row and we kill him. So yeah, that Cromwell's not liking us at this point. This is the first of 3 games that I'm going to show you that I recorded with Sebastian1145. Actually 4 games that were probably the best ones I recorded in the first 50 games that I played. Probably first 40 games I played. So I did have some better games than this. I'm just didn't put them in this video because this is a first impressions video. I wanted to show you guys some games that I did well in when I first got the tank. So in some of these games, I make some rookie mistakes in this autoloader. I screw up with my reload timing a couple of times, but that's okay. I'm still figuring it out. So these games should show you how I originally played in the tank. This first game, only about 2,000 damage, but that's alright. 2,000 damage is pretty good for a tier 7. 22,000 credits netted. If you don't shoot heat shells in this thing, you're probably going to make some pretty good credits. If you do shoot heat shells, which cost 5,600 credits a piece, so that's a lot of money, then you will not make any credits. But heat shells are sick, so we load up a bunch of heat shells. I have like 100,000 credits, 80,000 credits of shells in this tank, so yeah, it's kind of expensive to play for facing tier 9s, but if you're not facing tier 9s or 8s, you're just facing tier 7s and below, then you shouldn't really need heat shells a whole lot. We got a Tiger 1 coming up here. This is on Castilla, so I'm pushing up. I'm going to be very aggressive here. Sebi is on the hill. He's going to take shots at them from above. I'm going to take shots at them from the side. We're going to pincer movement. It's very strategic. Don't worry about it. So, unfortunately, this tank's pen is not that good. So, for the best gun, it is the 76mm T185. It only has 175 mils of penetration for armor piercing. The side of a Tiger does not have 175 mils of armor, but we still somehow bounced off of that because tracks are spaced armor and World of Tank shenanigans. But anyways, this gun is very good, mostly because of the reload and because of how quickly it unloads the 3 shells, but we still get some BS bounces like the side of a Tiger. Like, I think we can pen the side of a Tiger, thank you. If you do have to use your heat shells though, again, you're going to be dumping thousands of credits into this tank. And if you don't have thousands of credits to spend, this tank becomes very difficult to play at high tiers, because if you see an IS-6, you cannot do anything to that IS-6 unless you unload heat shells. The heat shells have 210 millimeters of penetration. Not the best, but it will do against an IS-6. If you try to shoot an IS-6 with 175 mils of pen, there's not a whole lot you can do unless you get its rear armor. Now, of course, this thing is crazy mobile on the little mobility scale, the maneuverability scale in the garage. It's an 88%, which is one of the highest in the entire game, and it gets that 88% because it only weighs 17 tons and has a 440 horsepower engine, which is a ridiculous horsepower to ton ratio. Most tanks have like 12 to 15. This one's a little bit higher. So this tank is crazy fast. It accelerates quickly. It maneuvers quickly. Its traverse speed is 68 degrees per second. So it takes you a second and about a half to turn your tank 100, or to turn your tank 90 degrees, which is ridiculous. Like, you can circle things so easily in this tank. On the T71, you did not have that, which made it so difficult to circle people. In the T21, the traverse speed was 53 degrees per second, and it still felt sluggish, but this thing's 63 degrees per second is ridiculous. On the E100, the turret traverse is like 12 degrees per second. This thing is crazy mobile, and I know it's a light tank, but it's a crazy mobile light tank. This thing is so much fun to circle people, and this thing is so much fun to just dump shells into people with. It's honestly one of my favorite tanks, and that's why I have kept this thing, even though I've unlocked the T69, which is the next tank in the tree. But we're getting ahead of ourselves, so let's focus on the T71. So, T71, Tier 7 American light tank. It's on the way to the T54, the T57 heavy. The T54 E1 is the Tier 9. I don't really think it's that good. I've faced it a couple times, but the T57 heavy is really what I'm looking forward to in this line. I recently found out through a YouTube comment, thank you, that this thing only does have 3 shells. That does limit your burst damage, but still, the T57 heavy looks like so much fun to play. If it's anything like the T71, it's going to be a fantastic tank. T71, this game, 2300 damage, another solid game, 3rd class. So this is just showing how the T71, if you unload shells and you flank people, you're going to get good damage scores. Now in this game, Sebi and I are platooned up on Mirage, and now Mirage is an interesting map for this tank because you can be very, very, very aggressive with its top speed, but if you're too aggressive, then you just end up dead very quickly. I've had games on Mirage where I last 30 seconds, maybe, and then I die because I roll around the corner and there's an SU-152 sitting there with HE, so you need to be very careful. This thing is very much like the Hellcat in the sense that just because you can drive 60-70 kilometers per hour doesn't mean you should drive 60-70 kilometers per hour, because you will die very quickly if you try to do that. You have to be very intelligent with what you do with this tank, or else you end up dead very quickly. So Sebi and I have pushed up to this hill area here, and we're just going to start taking shots at these guys. Now, the 170 mils of pen that the armor-piercing composite rigid shells have in this thing are kind of showing their weakness shooting against the Tiger P. Tiger P's gunman landing, you're not going to pen it anyways, but still, the side of the tank, feel like I should have penned that one. This guy's sitting in the open, not very smart. He slithers away just as soon as we start unloading. And one of the things you'll notice with these autoloaders, and I still have not gotten a knack for this, is when to reload and when not to reload. So right now, do I reload? I still have 2 shells. Well, if I reload now and someone pops out, then I could have shot them. But if someone pops out and I only have 2 shells loaded, I could have had 3 loaded. So when do you reload? That's a very interesting question. I don't know the answer yet. I'm still trying to figure that out. We see the M6. We somehow pen that shot. Thank you, RNGesus. And then we hit the building with that one. This gun is, while it does have good damage numbers, while it does put up good damage numbers, it maybe not the most accurate. Is .319 meters of dispersion at 100 meters, and I have the tippy top of crew and consumables and provisions and equipment on this thing. I have stacked this tank out with the best that it offers. I have a premium Coca-Cola consumable and then a less expensive premium Coca-Cola consumable, just because I want this thing to be the best tank it could possibly be. Seb and I have had so much fun in this tank. We're going to keep playing it even though we're playing in our other tanks, just because it's so much fun. You roll around the corner, you do 700 damage in a clip if you're platooned up with someone, so hopefully you guys pick this tank up and see how much fun it is. 61% win rate so far in this. I have better win rates and things, but 61% is pretty good. We had a 100% win rate for our first 6 or 7 games in this tank, just because we got a bunch of tier 7 games in a row, and it was an absolute slaughter. If you get a tier 7 game, you're gonna slaughter. It's so much like the Comet in that sense, where if you get a tier 7 game, it's almost broken how OP this tank is, if you play it well. Unfortunately, I've seen so many people that play this tank and play it completely wrong. This tank is good at very few things. It's very good at moving quickly, at dumping its shells and running away, and at scouting. Those are the 3 things this tank is very good at. Circling, maybe, but you have that 13-second reload, so if you circle someone and you don't kill them, you're going to have to continue to circle them for 13 seconds while you reload. So if you can kill them, by all means do it. But if you can't kill them, circling is a really risky idea. So it's me and a friendly against 2 tanks here. I'm just going to unload into this M6. We finish him off, thank you very much. And now we just have this Tiger P who is completely ignoring me for some reason. I don't know why. and he's just running away. So we're just going to roll up behind him and finish him off after we finish our reload. But if you're not doing one of the 3 things that this tank is very good at, you're probably playing it wrong. So right now, let's focus on one of the things it's very good at, scouting. This thing is such a good scout. I have tricked mine out with the best scouting equipment. So I have vents, I have binoculars, and I have a camo net. So I am ready to scout anything and everything on the battlefield. Provisions wise, I run a case of cola, a can of cola, and improved fuel, which are the top of the line consumables, because I really want to be able to go fast and see things very far. And those 2 consumables, the case of cola and the can of cola, give me a view range of 336.7 meters, which is ridiculous considering the maps in Blitz are 500 meters sometimes. You can see nearly across the entire map with this tank. So right here, I can sit almost where I spawned and I can see the entire side of the battlefield. So if you trick this thing out with full spotting equipment, you can see so far. It's almost broken. Seb and I have had so many games where one of us spots and one of us shoots, and we do so much damage because they just cannot see us. With the camo net on this thing, it's nearly invisible. If you sit in a bush, they can't see you anyways, so there's really no downside to tricking this thing out with spotting equipment. You could, I guess, try to play the circular role in it. You could get the V-stab and the enhanced gun laying drive and like the tracks, maybe the suspension, but really the scouting role is where this thing excels because you can see people from an incredible distance away, get so much spawning damage, and then you plug your 3 shells in and you run away. That is how this tank really needs to be played. Seb and I are pushing now to the middle of the town here on Desert Sands, and we're just going to bully this Black Prince. We can hide around the building during our reloads, and one of us can pop out, take our shots, he turns his turret, and then the other one pops out. So I see that he's not looking at me. I'm going to pull around the corner, put 1 in, we get a pen, put another 1 in, we get a pen, and the 3rd one in, and we get a 3rd pen. That's just so satisfying when you get those 3. With this being an autoloader, one of the huge downsides to it is if you don't pen your shots, you get punished. If you don't pen a shot in a tight 59, okay, bummer, you reload and you shoot him again. But if you don't, if a tank is on 400 HP and you bounce one of your shots, it's going to be 13 seconds before you can kill that tank, because you have to sit on your reload and you have to hope you don't die. Now, autoloaders are difficult to play in that sense, but they're also sometimes incredibly broken in that sense. The clip you saw at the beginning of the video is from this game because I just completely bully this LTTB. He's putting 1 shot into me. I'm going to put 1 more shot into him, and then I can run away. Thank you very much. And right here, Seb and I are going to show how you can bully people in this tank. This clip really illustrates how you should play this thing. If you're not spotting or you're not scouting, then you bully people. So Seb and I are picking a tank, and we're going to bully him. I'm going to pop out, see if I can spot him. We shoot the sky once. That was a mistake. Pull around the corner, see if we can get another shot on him, and then I see the LTTB. So I see him, I put 1 into him, and then I go for the reload here. So the reload is a very important thing to time. Again, if you time the reload wrong, you kind of screw yourself, shoot yourself in the foot. So I'm waiting my 13 seconds until I can shoot this guy, and then I'm going to absolutely unload on this LTTB. I see him, I see that he's alone, I see that his friendly is not going to be able to attack me. So I have to hope and pray that I pen all my shots and then I can win this engagement. We put 1 shot in, he damages us. We put another shot in. We need a good roll here and we finish him off like an absolute boss. And that is how this tank should be played. This thing is so much fun. You guys should pick this tank up, and I hope you guys have fun grinding out that T77 Heavy. 2,400 damage, 2nd class. I've gotten 1 ace in this thing. It's so difficult to ace, but when you do get ace games, they're crazy fun. In a platoon, this thing is nearly broken with how OP it is. You guys should trick it out with the best equipment and provisions because it just makes it broken with its spawning range. Like, I cannot praise this tank enough. The T71 is so much fun. I hope you guys all get it, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more. Thanks.